Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Gordon. One person is dead tonight after a shooting involving Clark County deputies. The sheriff's office is not saying much at this point. Galen Etlin takes us into the neighborhood where people are trying to work out what happened.
In Vancouver Sunday morning, a white SUV sat nose to nose with a Clark County cruiser, the result of an early morning chase that ended in a deadly shooting.
Right outside the front door.
Virginia Davidson says her family has been here near the corner of Northeast 122nd and 49th Street since the 70s.
And it's like, this neighborhood's never been like this.
Directly across the street, she can see the bullet holes, nearly a dozen in the wall of this mobile home.
Makes you kind of nervous.
Details are not clear. The Clark County Sheriff's Office said in a news release, just after 2 a.m., deputies tried to pull someone over who was wanted for assault with a gun. That person took off, and deputies used a pit maneuver to get the car off the road. The person got out with a gun. Shots were fired, and deputies said they found the person dead nearby. They did not say who fired shots first, who killed the person, nor where the person was found.
Heart-wrenching.
Rosie and Paul Bennett live in the mobile home community where their neighbor's house has those bullet holes.
Never experienced anything like this. I've always lived in a safe place.
Now, skid marks on the asphalt remain, a reminder to these neighbors of a deadly morning.
I hope it doesn't change the face of our neighborhood.
And never had to lock our doors, and now we're locking our doors, got dogs and patrols.
And a morning without many answers. Galen Etlin, KGW News.
Well, this latest incident involving Clark County deputies is the third in the past year. 21-year-old Kevin Peterson Jr. of Vancouver was shot and killed last October, and 30-year-old Genoa Donald was shot and killed in February. Both incidents are kind of difficult to understand because of mixed messages from the sheriff's office and other investigators. In Peterson's case, Clark County Sheriff Chuck Atkins initially said Peterson exchanged gunfire with deputies. An independent investigation said Peterson had a weapon but did not say that he fired it. In Donald's case, a group of prosecutors said the traffic stop that led to the shooting was flawed, but they suggested no charges for the deputy. Well, tomorrow is a big day in both Oregon and Washington. It is the deadline for state COVID vaccine mandates. This affects hundreds of thousands of people, from state workers to teachers to those in healthcare. The deadline is here, Monday, October 18th, when governors in Oregon and Washington require many workers to be fully vaccinated or face losing their jobs. In Oregon, state officials have not said exactly how many people are subject to the mandate, but according to the Oregonian, it appears to be at least 200,000. That includes 43,000 executive branch workers under the governor's control, but unions representing 38,000 of those workers negotiated a deal giving them until November 30th. The good news, about 90% of those workers don't need an extension because they are already fully vaccinated. Educators facing the deadline also have vaccination rates much higher than the statewide average. Some schools saying better than 90% of staff members are vaccinated. The same can be said for hospitals, where the looming mandate spiked vaccination rates up. As an example, Portland-based Legacy Health recently said the vaccination rate of its 14,000-person workforce has increased from 85 to 95%. Legacy imposed its own deadline earlier this month, so 700 unvaccinated workers are already on unpaid leave. Multnomah County Health Officer Dr. Jennifer Vines says we are still learning the effects of vaccine mandates, but she generally supports them.
They are not new. They have actually been a cornerstone of public health and of improving the health and lives of people for over 100 years, since vaccines really were invented.
In Washington state, Governor Jay Inslee's deadline is the same. 60,000 state employees have until Monday the 18th to provide proof of vaccination. Last Thursday, Inslee touted a 92% vaccination rate for those state employees, writing, quote, "The sky-high vaccination rates we're seeing should settle any concerns. There will be no massive disruptions in state services." But with nearly 5,000 state employees who have not provided proof of vaccination, agencies from transportation to fish and game to Department of Corrections are planning for staffing shortages. In Washington, as in Oregon, prison workers are lagging behind other state workers with 85% vaccination rates at last check. Dr. Stephen Krager is deputy health officer for several counties in southwest Washington. He says for anyone up against a mandate deadline, the science is clear. COVID vaccines are safe and effective.
You're not going to be harmed by getting vaccinated. So, keep your job, get vaccinated, and hopefully, protect people along the way.
A high-profile state employee could be let go tomorrow because of the mandate. We're talking about the man behind me here. He's Washington State football coach Nick Rolovich. He's one of the highest-paid state employees in Washington. Rolovich has asked for a religious exemption to avoid the shot and said he has not been updated on that request. It could become a messy situation for the Cougars coach, even if he does get vaccinated. While the vaccine mandate looms for many in both Oregon and Washington, some received their first and second doses today at the Regents Club in North Portland. 20 people took COVID tests at the site hosted by the Boys and Girls Club this morning, and then 10 separate people got the vaccine this afternoon. Well, last week, the White House told states to prepare for emergency approval for the Pfizer vaccine for kids aged 5 to 11. The Boys and Girls Club is preparing to vaccinate kids that young, and we're told that they can do 40 to 50 of them. They could be getting shots at each future event to come. Well, Oregon State Police say a crash south of Milwaukee that we brought you as breaking news last night was deadly. Troopers were called to Highway 99E and Oak Grove Boulevard just before 7 last night. An investigation, initial one, suggests a Chevy Trailblazer rear-ended a Toyota Yaris, a very small car that was stopped at the red light. Both vehicles went into the intersection and the Blazer collided with a Saturn SUV. A passenger of the Yaris died at the scene, and all others involved were taken to the hospital. Well, Wells Fargo is making a big donation to keep Oregon businesses open by shelling out $5.4 million to nonprofits and community development institutions. The grants are part of the company's Open for Business Fund. Money for that is from the gross processing fees the company is receiving from the federal government for participating in the Paycheck Protection Program. The funds were donated to 3 nonprofits and can be accessed by small business owners.
These are businesses that may not be able to get a regular bank loan. They may need capital injection. They may need technical assistance. So whatever they need, they can come to 3 organizations to help them either start a new business or actually keep their business going as they've been hurt through the pandemic.
We're going to tell you about those 3 organizations now. For anyone looking to access the money donated by Wells Fargo, you should contact Craft 3, the Rise Collective, and Meso. Well, homelessness and housing insecurity in Portland look like different things to different people. But a couple working through the houseless crisis is now sharing their story. Here's Christelle Kumwe.
Just like any other 4-year-old, William Krasowski is excited about Halloween.
I'm a human being.
Yes, all dressed up in a costume, ready for the big day.
I'm a dinosaur.
The family has a pumpkin in front of their home,
That's one.
just like most people do this time of year.
A vampire pumpkin.
Every day is a kind of struggle.
But most haven't experienced what Benjamin and Lynn Krasowski are going through.
People don't even ask, care about our story.
They just see the RV and they assume that they know your story.
This has been home for the family for about 4 years.
People forget that we are human beings just like them. We're just in a rough spot.
The couple lost their apartment when a roommate left unexpectedly. At the same time, Benjamin could no longer work because of a medical condition. They ended up on the street with a then 4-month-old William.
We just have been finding spots around the Portland area.
Certain spots where they weren't always welcome.
Yelling things,
Druggies,
thieves, just assuming that we're just causing crime, and it's really hurtful actually that people just judge you just because we're just a family trying to raise our son. It's in a rough
trying to get back
spot.
on our feet.
The couple caught a break about a year ago when Lynn found a full-time job as a bartender. Things were going great for about 9 months, but then the pandemic hit. She lost her job and the restaurant closed for good.
We both were just at a breaking point.
They worked small jobs, but nothing has been enough to get them out of the cycle of houselessness.
Both of us, we talked about it and we were just we just need to go to school, to better our family, to get us into a better situation, and hopefully along the way, we can get into a place.
She's a student at American College of Healthcare Sciences, and Benjamin is going to Portland Community College.
In an RV, by the way, when libraries aren't open,
It's very difficult.
very difficult.
The couple now hopes for compassion and a little humanity as they strive to give William a better life.
It's all for him. He definitely is our why. Every day. I mean, look at him.
Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.